Hello, beautiful people. I am back. And it's your host with the most, yours truly, Trudy. And I'm here with another episode of Chaley, Let's Talk. All right, Chaley, so before we get into everything, let's see how everyone's doing. Let's do the check in. How are you doing? How's your cat doing? How's your dog doing? How's your goldfish? Your mom, your dad, sister, brother, cousins, uncle, aunties, everyone. How's everybody doing? How's your job? How's your week been? And how's your weekend going? All that stuff. Checking in to see how you're doing, because I care about you and hopefully you care. You care enough to listen, so you do care. So, it's the least I can do. Check in, see how you're doing, Chaley. Thank you for coming to listen to this podcast. All right, so Chaley, let's move right on to what's trending. So, if you've been on social media this past week, you've seen this on Instagram, Facebook, probably on Twitter too, about the wedding couple that sent their guest, who was a no-show, an invoice. And everybody's been chiming in, letting everybody know how they feel about it. So I thought I'd do the same, give my 2 cents on it, y'all. Okay, so So this couple had a destination wedding and one of their guests was a no-show. So they sent the guest that was a no-show a $200 invoice. And everybody's been saying stuff about it. And honestly, I could see why the guest, excuse me, not the guest, the wedding party, the bride and the groom would send that invoice because one, it's not just a regular wedding, it's a destination wedding. And two, when you plan a wedding, you're taking the number of people that have RSVP'd yes and paying for all of them in advance, regardless of whether they show up or not. You're paying for it. So with this guest not showing up, they're out of $200, and I can see why they did that. Like, you said you were gonna come, you didn't call, you didn't text, you didn't tell us nothing on the day of, and now we sending you a bill. That type of thing. It makes sense when you put two and two together. It makes sense, but we can't just outright judge and say that was the right course of action because we don't know what was the reason why this person who didn't show up. It could be that they had like some extreme circumstance that they couldn't show up, probably couldn't text or call. We don't know. All we can do is speculate. So we still don't know. They haven't come out to say why they didn't show up, but I feel like we can all give this a fair assessment once we've heard from both sides. But right now, it feels like most of the people are taking the side of the bride and the groom, which is I mean, I could see why, but we can't just take sides yet because we don't know, on the other hand, why this person didn't show up. But if indeed this person didn't show up because they just didn't feel like going, that's a very bad thing to do. Don't RSVP to nobody's wedding and then not show up because you are costing them money. If you know you're not going to be able to make it to an event, be gracious enough, be kind enough to let the host know well in advance so they can prepare, okay? Let's not be people that don't show up to things just because we don't feel like it and not let people know. We don't like that around here. We don't like those types of people around here. Okay, honey? Okay, boo? Let people know. Let your hosts know in advance that you won't be able to make the event so that they can plan properly. And should something happen the day of, there's nothing wrong with you shooting a quick text or leaving a quick voicemail, an email, however, send pigeon, snail mail, however you want to get the message across. Then don't just leave your host hanging. That's not cool. All right. Let's try to be proper a little bit. Okay. It's 2021. Let's do better. All right, Chaley. So the next topic on what's trending is this whole Drake and Kanye thing. I know we've talked about it a few episodes ago, but here they go again. This time we're talking about albums. So Drake has released Certified Lover Boy, and Kanye has released Donda. So Yeah, 2 albums, long ass albums. Donda has how many, like 26 tracks, and Drake has like 21. Child, who has who has time to listen to those long ass albums? But I will say that I have not listened to Donda yet, but I have listened to like probably like 5 or 6 tracks off of Certified Lover Boy. And I honestly, I don't know if I have it in me to sit down and listen to 21 tracks or 26 tracks. I tried, and maybe if I'm going on a road trip, I'll listen to both. But right now, I only made it to, I think, track 5 on Certified Lover Boy, and I haven't even listened to Donda yet. But let me know what your favorite track or tracks from each album is. Hit me up on my email. Hit me up. Let me know what your favorite tracks are. ChaleyLet'sTalk@gmail.com. Let's chat about it. Send me suggestions and things I should listen to. I would love that. I would like to know what you guys are really feeling and vibing off of each album. So, Chaley, let's move on to the meat and potatoes of today's main episode. All right. So, disclaimer. We're going to be talking about Clickbait, the show that was on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, probably your best bet is to stop, go watch it, and then come back and listen to this episode. But we're going to talk about Clickbait. All right. So I think I've given enough people time to click off. So for those who are still here with me, let's get into the series. So Clickbait is a thriller. If you like thrillers, I got something for you for next week too. But Clickbait, that's why we're here today. That's why you're here today. Clickbait is basically about a family man whose name is Nick, and he's abducted, and later on we find out that he's killed. So the whole series just goes through what happened, who did it, and what led up to him being killed, all that jazz. But the ending, when I tell you the ending really blew me, first of all, who did y'all think it was? Let me know. ChaleyLet'sTalk@gmail.com. Send me a message. Let me know who you thought it was before you actually watched the last episode and saw who it actually was. I did not see it coming at all. At all. So, we start off episode 1 and we meet the sister, and it goes through all their interactions, blah 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 blah. So I watched episode 1 and I'm like, I know it's not gonna be the sister. She couldn't have killed her brother. And then the next episode was the detective, and I knew for a fact it wasn't gonna be the detective. I'm like, you guys need to stop playing with us, okay? Give us something substantial. And then we meet the wife, and for a second I was like, it might have been the wife, maybe, but I wasn't very certain. I hadn't made up my mind firmly that it was the wife. So then the next one was the mistress, and I just wrote her off. I said, it's not her. Stop playing with us. And then the next one was the reporter, and I said, stop playing with us. It's not the reporter. Stop playing. It's not the reporter. And then we meet the brother, and then I was like, oh, maybe it is the brother. And then I was watching, I kept watching, and then I was I was certain that, okay, the brother killed him. And then we find out that it wasn't even the brother that killed him. So I was just thrown for a loop. Like, who the hell did it? So we saw the episode about the son, and then I thought I was going to put my detective genius hat on and say, all right, it's not any of the characters that we've been introduced to, but I was gonna go out on a limb and say it was Matt. I think Matt is who is Matt? Matt is the Matt is who the hell is Matt again? Was his name Matt? First of all, his name is not Matt? Really? What is going on? Y'all, is there not a Matt in the show, or did I just make up my own character? Anyway, it was, let me describe him. He was the guy that worked with Nick. Oh yeah, there is a Matt. I thought I thought I was tripping for a second. Okay, yeah. So Matt works together with Nick at the sports center, and the whole time I said, once episode, what is it, like 6, 7 roll? I said it's Matt. I know it's Matt. It has to be Matt. I was gunning that it was gonna be Matt, and then we found out that it's not even Matt, and the whole brain behind the operation was the lady. What's her name? Um, Paula? Y'all, I'm all over the place with these names. But okay, so the main culprit behind everything is Dawn. This little old lady, she seems so sweet, but beware of people like that, okay? They're snakes. They're snakes. Beware of people that be smiling in your face, and then they could be doing some shady stuff behind your back to you, okay? So Dawn is this sweet little lady, wants to help Matt set up his computer and link it to his phone. Matt was kind of an idiot and gave her his password. First of all, let's pause and talk about that. Why would you give a stranger the password to your phone? I don't care how sweet or nice any little old lady looks. Don't give strangers your password. And that was mistake number one for him. Trusting that woman to set up his phone and link it to his computer, whatever the hell she was trying to do, be all technical and sweet. And two, she took advantage of that and just made a mess out of poor Nick's life. She was catfishing people using Nick's dating profiles. And man, imagine what you have to be going through in your personal life to be like, okay, I'm going to start talking to people online, try to fool them because I don't have nothing else going on in my real life. But then we get to see why she does that. She feels like she's not seen at work, and at home she's not seen either. Her husband, they seem like they have a chill marriage, like they do regular old people shit. They have dinner. They plan getaways to wherever the hell they had the horses and stuff. So it seems like she's probably tired of the same old type of routine. And I get it, but that doesn't mean go set up dating profiles and try to catfish people using your coworkers' information. That's just bad all around. There's no excuse for that. That's inexcusable. But she did it nonetheless. And second of all, we've already talked about the first point, is Nick trusting her with his password. My second point was, after Nick had been released by Ethan, no, not Ethan, Simon, the one who kidnapped him. Why the hell did the first thing to pop up in his head was to go confront Dawn at her house? What? After you've just been released by your kidnappers, your first instinct was to go confront who you thought was behind the reason why you were just kidnapped? That's crazy to me, because if that was me, I would have been on my way home or somewhere, police station, something, not to go confront someone that I thought was behind it at night. On top of that, at night, and I don't have a phone to reach out to anybody. That's where I was giving the show a huge side eye, because why did he go there straight away? The smarter thing would have been to go home, get your thoughts together, like try to think. You're probably in shock you would probably be in, I would be, well, if that was me, I would be in shock. I would just be like, what the hell just happened? I just got kidnapped. And I would try to process everything that's happened to me. So I would try to go home first, get my thoughts together, process everything that's happened, call the police before I even try to do all that extra stuff that he was doing. That was crazy. That's the crazy part to me. That was so crazy to me because why did he even do that? And then ultimately we find out that that's how he died, because he went to confront Don, and then Don's husband hit him in the head with a hammer. Boom, he's dead. And he could have basically saved himself if he hadn't just went there straight away. He would have still been alive in the show if he had just gone home, or the police station. He would have still been alive if he had gone to one of those two places instead of just going there straight away. Because one, he didn't even have a phone to call anybody to be like, oh, I was kidnapped and now I'm going over to Don's place. Da 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 da. I think she's the reason why I was kidnapped. He just went, you know how men be sometimes, like, all right, I'm gonna fix this myself. Boom, boom, boom. I shouldn't say that. Not all men are like that, but but as someone who's just been in a traumatic incident, like being kidnapped, go home. What the hell are you? Why are you gonna go confront somebody else? You just literally just jumped from the frying pan to the fire. Literally, if the from frying pan to fire was personified, it's that situation right there. Him getting released from being kidnapped and him just going into that house to confront that little old lady. That couldn't have been that needs to be the picture you see in your head whenever somebody says from frying pan to fire, because what else can you say to describe that situation? But overall, I thought the show was a good show. I enjoyed it. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would recommend it. That's why I'm talking about it right now. So let me know what your thoughts on the show are. I'm trying to see if I had anything else that I wanted to talk about the show, but those were the two main things that really stuck out to me about that whole Nick thing. Like, why did he give his password to that lady? And why did he go to the house? Why? And and Dawn being so lonely. I understand that, but why didn't she go talk to somebody or talk to her husband? Sometimes we all get down on ourselves. We feel like we're seen but not seen. That's when you need to reach out to somebody, So I know it can be hard. It's easier said than done, but please don't let that be the reason why you start doing some shady shit. Because you're feeling down on yourself and you feel like nobody cares about you and nobody's listening. So your outlet is to mess up somebody's life. Don't let that be your portion, okay? Okay, congregation, that's never gonna be your portion. Just say amen if you believe it. But on another note, on a serious note, actually, like, catfishing is definitely a serious thing. Like, I'm surprised that MTV Catfish, the show, is still running. It still boggles my mind that people are still getting catfished in 2021, but it happens. And I guess technology has evolved enough that it's still questionable. When you're talking to somebody, it's still questionable that you're talking to the real person, because you can what is that thing called? That technology called deep something, where you can use a clip or a picture and you can make it say, basically move the lips to say whatever you want. So in the midst of all that craziness happening today, right now, how are you ever sure you're talking to the person how are you sure the person you're talking to is who they say they are, is the question, basically. So if you're not meeting them in person, and even video chat is questionable. If you're not meeting them in person, and if you will meet them in person, make sure you do that in a public place, okay? You don't want to meet up with no psychopaths, some crazy people, We're in 2021, but still, crazy people are still out there. Crazy people are undefeated, so And whatever you do, be safe, okay? Have your safety as number one priority. I want you to always come back and listen to this podcast. And don't say I didn't advise y'all. Be safe. Okay. I think I've talked enough about clickbait. I don't know if I missed anything else. I've pretty much hit all the points that stuck out to me. There's probably more, but these are the main ones that were of concern. I'm talking too fast. These are the main ones that were of concern to me. One, Nick being a dum-dum and giving his password to Dawn. Two, him going to the house to confront Dawn. Three, Dawn being so lonely that she had to resort to catfishing people. It's sad, but those are the three main things that I concerned myself with during the show. Like I had to vent about it some way, somehow. So here I am. I'm talking way too fast again. Here I am talking about it. But overall I enjoyed the show. It was good. I think I said that already. It was a good show. Definitely recommend. And I'm just gonna end it. Okay? So, before I leave, let's jump over to the segment that I like to call Across the Atlantic. And today we are in none other than the country known as Guinea. All right, so this is a podcast for comedy, lighthearted stuff, nothing too crazy, but I just wanted to talk about this because I just saw it popped up that there is a coup attempt going on in Guinea. I know there's nothing funny about this or lighthearted about this, but sometimes we gotta talk about the real. So there's a coup attempt going on in Guinea right now, and soldiers, the military, basically have seized power from their current president, and there's more to follow. As always, in Africa, in the whole world, honestly, in the whole world, corruption is rampant in everything and everywhere, and especially in government. So the military of Guinea have seized power because they said that corruption is crazy out there and there's so much poverty, and these leaders that come into power are only concerned about enriching themselves, and they barely do anything for the people of the citizens of that country. And we see that everywhere. We see that in the United States. We see that in everywhere. Guinea, Ghana, Nigeria, wherever. You name it, there's corruption there, okay? It's just a way of life. It's just a part of life that we see all the time. Most politicians come into power. They do what they can to make themselves and their cronies rich, families and cronies rich. It's like a friends and family deal type of thing. There are rarely any politicians that come into power and truly, honestly care about the people. Most of them come do what they can for themselves and then go. And then it's the same cyclical thing that we see again and again and again and again and again. People just coming in for themselves and their extended family or immediate family and their friends, but never for the core people that voted them in. So we'll keep an eye out on what's going on in Guinea. Right now, they said the military has taken over. They have removed the president and dissolved the government. And I saw a clip of, they speak French, and my French is a little rusty, so I couldn't pick up what was going on in the video, but I saw a clip of the president, and he was surrounded by military men. Not sure what they said in the video. I'll have to rewatch it and try to decipher, because a girl hasn't been keeping up with her Duolingo. I'm getting off track, but yeah. So we'll keep up and see what's going on there. Hopefully the transition is smooth and it's without bloodshed, because we don't need any more people dying in the world. We already seen what's going on in Afghanistan. We don't need any more violence in the world. We're going through enough as it is already. So hopefully whatever the next steps are, it's without violence and bloodshed. And I'm done rambling and talking so fast. So before I leave, I'm just gonna take this time out and thank everyone for listening to this podcast. Thank you for coming back again. And if this is your first time listening, welcome and thank you for listening. I'm your host with the most, yours truly, Trudy, and this has been Chaley. Let's talk. So I will see you in the next one. All right? Bye. Bloodshed.